The hell? Hello? Really? That's interesting. My video is locked up, and it wasn't a moment ago. Why does it hate me? Like, I don't understand. I am moving. I am here. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Glad to have you, Glenn. Tech Squid TV also here. Glad to have you. I am deactivating and reactivating here. I was connected, right? Yeah, no, we've established that. Helpful Tech DIY. I mean, I guess you're living up to your name, so that's good. Hold on. Let me unplug the camera. Hold on. Let me see what's going on here. Unplug. Sometimes you just gotta do things weird. Let's try that. No signal. Okay, that's good. I'm glad it's throwing that error for me. That's neat. Literally, I was just looking at this a moment ago. And of course, this is oops, that's not what I wanted. Of course, this is how things would work out here, I guess. Turn it off and back on. I mean, that's what we tell people, right? Where's the damned on-off switch? There it is. Okay. Camera off. Camera on. Deactivate, reactivate. Sometimes it takes a second. No signal, which is wonderful. I love this. Yeah, no, let me it's so frustrating because I literally was just out here. I was messing with it, getting it to focus, and everything was fine. I'm just unplugging it and plugging it back in at this point because the power cycle didn't seem to do anything. Hey, look, neat. Now if it'll focus, there we go. Hi. Wow, that is, oh, it changed my damn settings. It really did. It really changed like my ISO, and it changed my f-stop. It changed everything. It's so bright now. Hold on. I think, okay, we're done. I mean, it's something anyway, right? Like, it could be worse. It could be worse. Like it was a moment ago. I'm just trying to see if like my phone, will even find the Wi-Fi from my camera. That's weird. My ZimaCube is putting off an access point. Whatever. I guess we're just going to be a little brighter than normal today, and I will deal with it later because yeah, that's it's not a live stream if something doesn't go tragically wrong to start with, you know? So anyway, thank you guys for your patience. Also, Jason, thank you for letting me know that the picture and the audio is good. I appreciate that. I always like to do those first, and of course, things have fallen apart a bit. But here we are. So just as a heads up for some of you that are here are also in the Discord, and we were talking this morning about moving live streams to Sunday. It would be, instead of starting at now, it would be an hour later than whatever it is right now, but on Sunday. I say that because we've got time zones, or people from time zones all over the world here. So tomorrow, or Sunday, but an hour later than now, right? So it'd be 11 o'clock my time. It'd be like 5 o'clock UTC minus 6, depending on daylight savings or whatever. And that was originally my thought, that we would start that next week. But next Sunday is Easter. So that complicates things, obviously, if we want to start doing these on Sunday, because I know with it getting warmer, this happened last year as well, where, people are out doing things and touching grass and doing sports with their kids and all of that stuff on Saturday mornings, right? And of course, I know there are a lot of people out there who go to church on Sundays. I know there's some that go on Saturdays or Wednesdays or whatever, but we're only talking Saturday and Sunday here, right? So, so we were talking about moving everything to Sunday, but again, like an hour from now. But Sunday. But again, next Sunday is Easter. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. We may try Saturday anyway. Maybe we'll try a later in the evening live stream. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll try to get some input from the community about possible next Sunday. Because here's the thing, right? Like, next Sunday, my wife is going to be out of town, both, I think, Saturday and Sunday, dealing with a family situation. But, so I'll have the kid by myself over the weekend. So if we do a live stream next Saturday, or next weekend rather, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, it'll actually probably be, at where we used to do videos years and years ago, in the other part of the house. And I'll bring out a microphone, and one of my cameras. I don't know if it'll be an Elgato camera or an Insta360 webcam or what. I'll figure something out. But either way, next Sunday's live stream, or next weekend's live stream, is going to be weird no matter what day we do it on, because it won't be here. Like I said, it'll be in the other part of the house. So we'll see what happens. But again, I want to make sure that the most number of people who can attend are able to, right? And Saturday mornings, this time of year, are not great for a lot of people. Again, sports, family, that sort of thing. So anyway, that's the plan, is to change to Sunday. I know I've said that a million times now, but that's what we're shooting for, just to make the live streams more accessible for more people. So, so that's what's going on there, I think. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Peter says he's got -13. Dude, that sucks. That is far too cold. I don't know what it is here right now. It was, hold on, weather, let's do that. So I got 56 Fahrenheit right now, which is 13 Celsius. Yesterday was like, we barely got above freezing. The day before that was, I don't even know, 25, 26 degrees Celsius, which was almost 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So the weather in Colorado has been real all over the place. Today we've got a high of 74 or 23. It is a lovely day in Colorado. It's gonna get nicer later, which is great, because I've got a new stereo to install in my car after the live stream today. And that's a whole weird thing. I don't remember if some of you guys have been around long enough. In like 2024, I did a live stream about a car stereo with AI in it. And that video did surprisingly well over the evergreen of it, because they still sell it, right? Anyway, the company's called A Toto. They reached out to me again a while back, and it was like, hey, we've got this new stereo. We want you to review it. And I was like, I'd rather not. It doesn't really fit with what the way I'm trying to take the channel to be more, like, Homelab and self-hosting and that sort of thing, right? Like the novelty of the AI thing was fine a couple of years ago because it was still relatively new at that point. But they're like, hey, you could actually tie it into your Homelab because this is effectively an Android tablet mounted to your dash. So you can install things like Plex and Home Assistant and all of these things that you might use in your Homelab, like on your phone or whatever, and take your Homelab with you. And I was like, well, when you put it that way, let's talk about what you have in mind. So they're like, hey, we've got this device. We're going to send it to you. It was a 12-inch screen, 12.5-inch screen with all kinds of bells and whistles and whatnot. And I was like, cool, yeah, no, let's do that. But if we're going to do this, like, it's not that much of an upgrade in theory from what I've currently got. So I'm going to need a bunch of accessories to go with it. Like the cameras, they do this dumb thing with their cameras that I've brought up to them. That like each family of stereos has its own compatible cameras, right? So the cameras that I've got in my car right now will not work with the new stereos. It's like I need new cameras. I also want the ambient lighting kit. I also want the LED screen to put in my back window. I also want the amplifier. And I'll cover all of that in the video, right? But the reason I really wanted the amplifier was because the stereo, these are a screen with just a little thing on the back to make it a car stereo. So the problem is that they only put out 29 watts RMS. And if you know anything about car audio, 29 watts RMS is not, it's nothing. Like I don't know what is going on over here. It's so frustrating. It looked like we stuttered quite a bit there. Anyway, so the amp that they're including is like, I think it's, instead of being 29 watts, it's like 60 watts or 70 watts per channel RMS. So more than double, which is great, which will complement the 1,000 watts and the 12-inch sub that I've got in my door, or sorry, in my trunk. I've got a 12-inch kicker back there, and then all four of my doors have 6.5-inch kickers, and I've got tweeters in the corners, right? So anyway, hopefully it'll all be louder, sound better, nicer screen, better hardware. And so anyway, they sent me a unit, and I looked at it and I was like, something seems weird. And they sent me the wrong unit. So there was some back and forth. They're like, well, we could send you this. And I was like, that's not what we agreed on. They're like, okay, well, we can send you this. And I'm like, why won't you just send me the thing you said you were going to send me? So anyway, they're actually sending me something that I think will be better for my car than what they were going to send me, even though the screen is technically smaller. But the 12.5-inch screen would have been enormous. And would have covered some of my controls and my vents a little bit more than I wanted to. So that's my plan for after the live stream today, is to install the new unit once it gets here. It's out for delivery right now. So kind of excited about that. That's weird. That's what happened there. Let's do that. So yeah, that's what's going on. PWL love handles. Do they still have removable faceplates? They do not. They do not have removable faceplates. Like I said, it's effectively a 10.5-inch tablet with a thing on the back. It's an Android system, which is great because all of my mobile devices are Android and they all work really well together. It would be good for Audio Bookshelf. I agree. I was also thinking doing a demo with Plex, doing a demo with Home Assistant, those sorts of things as well as part of it. But I hadn't considered Audio Bookshelf. That's a really good idea. Especially like with what you do with your driving all the time. I bet audiobooks would be great for that. Yeah, amp makes bass go boom. Yeah, I actually need to put sound treatment in my trunk. Like I said, I've got a Kicker Comp 12 in my trunk in a ported box with about 1,000 watts. Well, the amp is rated for about 1,000 watts, but I've only got it turned up about halfway. Part of that is so that my car doesn't rattle quite as bad, but also part of it is that my alternator won't handle 1,000 watts real well. So I need to get a capacitor or something. I know a deep cycle battery is probably better, for a setup like this, but a deep cycle battery is like $300 or $400, and a 2 farad capacitor is like $60 and will at least help. So I don't know what I'm going to do just yet as far as that's concerned. Spectacular Austin says, nice to see you live again. Appreciate it. Yeah, there's a couple of weeks where I couldn't for all sorts of reasons, but I'm back. I talked to your server about a Kickstarter. Saw the new tiny thing. I think is interesting. Jim's Garage did a video on it. Somebody else shared a video on the Discord channel about somebody else who primarily his whole channel is about self-hosted AI stuff. Did a video on it. And it looks interesting. It seems weird to me though that a device that small has claims of these really big LLMs. I don't know, like it's probably fine, but it also seems like you have to plug it into your computer to make it work, which I think is weird. But I may have missed something there. Glenn says, next week I'm converting an old on Android tablet to be my media center in the truck. Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. Like if it works for you, hell yeah, man. I think that's great. Vaz says, sorry I was late to start today. Hi to all. How are you doing this weekend? Doing okay, actually. Doing better, I think, than I have in a while. I'm working with my... She's not really a shrink. She's my med manager for my neuromeds, to help with depression and ADHD and all that sort of stuff. And we did a couple of weeks of Seroquel, 50 milligrams of Seroquel at night to help me sleep. And we came off of that. She's put me on something else. But the new thing will take several days to actually build up a therapeutic dose in my system. And I kind of miss the Seroquel a little bit. I don't sleep as well without it. So I may start doing 25 milligrams of Seroquel with the new med that we're building up on. But yeah, it's going all right. So feeling better. My brain's doing better. So yeah, we'll see how things go. I wonder. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Let's see. I use Audio Bookshelf. It's fantastic. That's cool. I've only listened, the last time I listened to an audiobook, I think we talked about this in the last live stream, was like 15 years ago or something when I was driving to Idaho, and it was a Kevin Smith, audiobook about his life and whatnot that he narrated, which I thought was great. Well, you don't like the HS rattle. I'm not sure what HS is, but, keeps you young and there's no hearing. My hearing is better than it should be given. Oh, high school. Yeah. No, my hearing's actually still pretty good considering, like I've actively got tinnitus. I can hear the squeal even right now. Like after high school in my early 20s, I always had a big system in my car. I got pulled over twice, for sound ordinance. I had a 94 Ford Festiva. No, was it that one? I think it was my Ford Festiva. And I had a Phoenix Gold system, like the head unit, the speakers, the sub, the amp, all of it was Phoenix Gold. And it was 110 that hit harder than, or as hard as 212s. It was bizarre. Part of it was the ported box, but also part of it was the acoustics of the hatchback that I was driving. It pulled over twice for sound ordinance in that car. It hit really, really hard. But yeah, now in my Ford Festiva, I've got the Kicker 12 in a ported box. And then I've actually got one of my back seats laid down, but that makes it like a fourth or a sixth order kind of thing. It's not huge. Like I won't get pulled over for sound ordinance. Part of that's the acoustics of the car, but like it'll make the hair in your nose tingle, So I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Do you think a Mac Mini M4 16 gigs is a good for a home server? Absolutely. I've never used one, but I've had a lot of people say that they're good. Somebody has offered me one, I think, at one point, and I feel odd about that, but also intrigued. But I've never actually. I have an iPhone X that I only bought secondhand for a project that never came through. I've got an iPod for a project with Amazon that never actually made its way into anything. And I think I've got a second gen iPad in a box somewhere. But those are the only Mac devices that I've got. And I have like an iPhone 3G and a 4G way back in the day, but that was the last time I actually ever used an iPhone of any variety. Vaz brings up a good point. It depends on what you want to do. It can be a little overkill or way too little. Yeah, a lot of it depends on what you're going to do. Yeah, like he followed up with. So thank you for that. Or like JD followed up with there. Yeah, I love my hatchback with my 10-inch kicker as well. Yep. So turn it down late at night, long distance, turn it up. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, dude. Okay, so right now, my last several systems have had the volume knob for the amplifier. I wish we'd had that 25, 26 years ago when I had systems back then. I could have saved myself so much headache because it was either all or nothing back then, or you had to go into if you had a good stereo, you could go in and manipulate the volume of the sub like on your deck. but I love being able to have the volume knob for my amplifier now. It saves me so much time and money, or time and headache rather, which I guess is money somehow. But yeah, so the plan for today's live stream is to take a look at some Homelabs that were submitted over the last month or so. I think the last time we did one of these was March 21st. So it looks like we may just do these like the last live stream of the month, I think, is kind of how it wasn't quite there, because the 28th was actually the last live stream of last month. But I don't remember if I did a live stream that month. Maybe that was the one we did with the dashboards. I don't remember. And Glenn, yeah, actually I've actually got yours pulled up right now. I really do. Like if we look here, this is Glenn. This is what Glenn submitted. Known as Glenn J48 on YouTube. He lives in Utah, on the road all but 5 days a month. That sounds bonkers to me. In the late 90s, Glenn was a tier 3 tech support for iOmega. That'll date you. Did you guys see the Linus Tech Tips video the other day where they did the MP3 players? And I think one of them was an iOmega Zip MP3 player media thing that still had like the spinning media that went in it. I thought that was interesting. I remember having a zip drive from iOmega back in the day, and I loved it, but I no one else had a zip drive, so I could only use it for my own stuff. So it didn't really do anything for me beyond that. So it starts off with a PVC computer monitor. Still have the zip drive from way back in the day. That's crazy. That was ironically named the Click Drive. That's bonkers. I think Vaz, I also think they had one that was bigger than that. I think iOmega had drives that were bigger than 100. It was the Jazz Drive. That's what I was thinking. I think the Jazz Drive was bigger. Jazz drive size. Yeah, 1 gig introduced in 95 and a 2 gig introduced in 98. Yeah, that's crazy. I'd forgotten about the Jazz drive, but I remember there was one that was bigger, but that's probably what it was. Oh, excuse me. So he's talking about the PVC computer monitor. Came about because I wanted a 3-monitor setup for a flight sim, and looking around the internet, found plans for a 3-monitor flight sim. Worked out as it fit in the corner, not taking a bunch of unnecessary space. And I've got pictures over here as well. This is that. Let's bring that up. This is the flight sim that Glenn is talking about with this PVC setup. I think he actually shared this in Discord as well. Honestly, I love this. I genuinely do. Time and thought and ingenuity and some engineering went into this, and I actually really love it. I also love that you've got the these look like 3D printed corner unit things to keep everything level and touching. I think that's great. I feel like I probably would have printed 2 more to put on the bottom as well, just to really suck it up together, but it probably not super necessary. But I'm always one to take things too far. Let's see what else you got. You got a phone charger here. Love that. Headphones, other controllers. This under the controller is this VR right down here? This looks like VR to me, but maybe it's got to be VR. Looks like you got some flight control stuff down here as well. PC. Looks like this is probably a NAS of some variety. Quest 3, okay. UPS, love seeing that. Gotta have the UPS. Got some more networking up here. To PC over here, I'm guessing kind of running the whole thing with the RTX in it. That looks really good. Proxmox rack on the right. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Right here in the center with the blue. Very cool. Mouse over here. USB hub. Yeah, no, I love it. I think that's actually really cool. Again, I love the ingenuity of it. That's really cool. Let's see what else. Lab started on his way to watch movies on the truck without having to carry loads of DVDs, which makes sense. Daughter had about 1,000 DVDs, and I jokingly told her I was going to steal them. I was just starting to see Plex videos on YouTube, and it intrigued you, so bought a refurb computer from Amazon, a couple of 12 terabyte drives, made a mirror in Windows, installed Plex, and started ripping. Hell yeah, man. That is... oh, I gotcha. That's kind of how I started initially with media hoarding. Back in the day when you could actually with Netflix, when you could get 3 DVDs at a time, I would get those and immediately rip them. So I'd have my own copies of them. And I just had folders upon folders upon folders full of DVDs. And then eventually moved everything over to digital. I don't think I actually have any physical media anywhere in my house. I guess my wife's got a couple of DVDs for sentimental reasons, I guess, or whatever. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think we've got any physical media in the house. Says this was fine until I ran across your channel and learned about the R's. Then I knew I needed more than 12 terabytes of storage. About that time, I started seeing lots of videos from NAS compares. And I knew that the way forward was to build a NAS. Yep. Bought a Johnsbo N3 case, which is they're so popular for building little NASs. And a few more 12 terabyte drives and the rest of the necessary items to put together your first server. Chose Unraid, which is a great option because you can add drives of varying sizes. Well done on that. I still, at some point, I really do need to try Unraid. I've been saying that for 2 years and I still haven't done it. So this worked well for about a year, but once I had the drive bays fully populated again, I started having space concerns. and it wasn't close to full yet, but it was in the back of your mind, which is always good to have that ahead of time. Started having some concern, some server weirdness, random Docker crashes, those suck, which on Unraid brings everything down. That sucks even more. I was muddling along, doing the best I could to keep things up. I had some problems with ZFS single volume drives where I couldn't reliably get into the drive. So I thought, okay, I'll start switching everything to XFS. Never used that since I could run native repairs to the drives if necessary on Unraid. And so I started picking up 20 terabyte drives. Damn, dude. That's when things went bad from bad to worse. Drives would get read errors. Everything started going down. Decided to run Proxmox on a mini PC and offload most of the Docker stuff to that. Yep, I don't hate that. That kind of masked the symptoms, but things were still more stable using AI. Fully determined the dubious off-brand 600 watt power supply wasn't sufficient for the server with all of the drive bays filled. Holy cow. Tried swapping drives, ordered a new power supply, ordered a CPU upgrade, tried to get more out of the server. All right. So my thoughts were I could get to Docker services on Proxmox machine and let it handle all the Docker stuff and let Unraid just be a NAS. I love that idea. I wonder, were you doing like NFS shares or iSCSI? I'd be curious about how you were connecting the two. Wanted to throw in a GPU for TDAR transcoding, so I ordered one of those as well. Now I have 6 12 terabyte drives sitting idle due to the upgrade storage in the Unraid server and chasing phantom power problems. Whew, man, so I added them to Proxmox and initially did a TrueNAS VM. That's what I'm doing currently, and set the drives up in a pool in that. But that off-brand power supply was waiting to bite me again. Dude, that sucks. Started having problems with the pool. Fortunately, I didn't really have any data to speak of on them at this point, so it wasn't a big issue, which is good. But I immediately ordered another 750 watt power supply to get ahead of the problem by throwing the suspect power supply out, which is great. Now that things were stable, I decided to just build a native Proxmox pool and skip the whole extra VM. I don't necessarily blame you on that. We talked about it a little bit about how I went through a similar thing in previous live streams, and like my ZMaCube currently has a TrueNAS VM running on it with 4, I think they're 8 terabyte drives that handle all of my media for Plex, which is great because now if I needed to, I could just grab my ZMaCube and head out the door with it and have my entire Homelab right there. I would lose my backups because those are all in the NASAs that are right there. There's 2 of them up there. But yeah, I don't blame you for getting away from the VM because it just setting up TrueNAS is a tedious process in my opinion. I hated it. Like once I got all the drives passed through appropriately and whatnot, it's so many levels deep to create things. And if you don't know the order in which you're supposed to do it, it's very overwhelming for your first few times doing it. And I know that my TrueNAS is not set up properly. Like all of my permissions are just open. I do a backup of my media from TrueNAS to one of my NASs up here. I think more than I don't think that it was necessarily a bottleneck. I think it was just a faulty off-brand power supply that wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. Because I had a power supply crap out on me one day when I was trying to set something up, and it took me days to figure out that the issue really was my power supply. It had been running solid for a couple of years, and one day it just crapped out on me. And once I replaced it, it was fine. And it was actually a name brand. Just a flaky, yeah. Power supplies can be such a pain in the ass to troubleshoot sometimes. because it worked yesterday and now it doesn't. And certain things work fine and other things don't. Yeah, power supplies can really be a trick to try to figure out sometimes. 7cat or 0128 says, hi, I hope you're doing better today. I'm doing a little better. We're trying new meds and so far so good. Then the Corsair included power cables cause problems as well. Dude, that sucks, man. Yeah, big expensive rabbit holes. Yeah, faulty power supply will do that. Yeah, no, it's there. I hate it. Let's see. All right, let's come back over to here. Tell you what, let's actually look through some pictures real quick, just so we can kind of get a better idea. Okay. You said one of them. Okay, so the Proxmox. So okay, so then this would be Unraid, and this no. So this is Unraid and this is Proxmox, right? So Unraid is black and white, and Proxmox is blue, based on the comments you left earlier, I think. Yeah, they're short and the connectors are laid out poorly. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Flaky PSU is a pain in the ass to figure out. An Asus board that I thought died months later. Yeah, but just found out it was the power supply. Yeah, I had something real similar happen actually with an Asus motherboard as well. It was one of their Tough Series boards, which I don't know that was, it's all just random, but I don't remember what power supply I had. But yeah, it's interesting that you've got, what is, hold on, I'm curious here. I'm going to zoom this over there. Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm looking at this and that's the name of the server. Okay, so you got your Aorus motherboard here. I'm guessing this is a DisplayPort out converted to HDMI. That's an old GPU. I can tell by the DVI there. It is quite the contraption you've built here. But if it works, setting up cold server storage, naming it Titanic. I think you're setting yourself up for failure if you're going to name your cold storage Titanic. That just sounds like setting yourself up for failure there. Mini ITX motherboard with an old GPU. Yeah, that DVI connection. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Oops, what else? I hate with Windows that you have to be zoomed out to move to the next picture in there. Could use a little dusting. This happens especially on carpet on the floor. But yeah, no, that's the Johnsbow case, isn't it? 2 lottery coin miners under. Oh wait, let's go back to that then. Oh, is that what I wondered what those are? Hindenburg is also one of those bad name ideas. It absolutely is. That one will set your house on fire. No, I love having the extra cooling. I'm guessing those are the drives down there. So love seeing the extra cooling on that, especially filtered. Filters is important. But that's great. I love that. So here's your Unraid dashboard. Have to clean it every month. I believe that. Yeah, I agree. That is a nice fan mod on the Johnsbow. Motherboard temperature running at 27.8. That is pretty good, man. Hindenburg's a good name for a cloud storage. Yeah. Again, I feel like you're just setting yourself up with names like that. Man, I really need to look at Unraid because of the ability to just add whatever drives you want. Looks like disk 2's got an error over here. I'm sure you're aware of that already, but 108 terabytes available. Man, I wish. I think the most I've got is like 30 or something in any one unit. Having 108 would be amazing. Oh, you got your nut server coming in there. That's awesome. My servers are named after Primal Hunter characters. Interesting. Yeah, the drive bay was hard to keep cool. I believe that. But no, it's a great mod that you've got on that. And zoom out, and then I come over to here. Unraid-2. So you've got GPU. Oh, this is the iGPU. 32 gigs of DDR4. Disk 2 has been replaced. Good deal. Geeky Dad 007's here saying good morning. Glad to have you here hanging out. We're just taking a look at Glenn J48's Homelab submission at the moment. Was it? Interesting. So I was looking over here, and this is saying disk 3, but that's probably the same disk. What else? I think that wasn't it. Oh, here we go. Oh, so this is what you've got running. Okay, I gotcha. So all kinds of stuff running here. Code server, bookstack, sync thing, Manyfold. I used Manyfold for a while. I liked it. I'm glad they changed the name from what it was. I can't think of what it used to be called, but it was one of the martial artists from like the 80s and 90s was originally what that was named. Manyfold was. I cannot think of his name. He was the one that ended up doing like the splits between the two semi trucks. Be working on my nut server client again this weekend. The testing is a pain. I really need to set a nut server up. I've got a UPS down here, but I've never actually done anything with it other than plug stuff in and hope for the best. Yeah, Van Dam is what it was called. Thank you for that. Yeah, it was Van Dam was the name of what Manyfold used to be. Scrutiny is in there, but stopped, ironically. AI stuff, that's a good name. Maintainer, autoscan, cleaner, posterizer, all kinds of good stuff in there. This? Oh, because I didn't zoom out. Stupid Windows. More storage stuff. So some 20s, bunch of 12s, another 20. Man, that's crazy. I can't even fathom having that much storage available to me. It just doesn't compute in my brain. Although, I mean, I guess if I really wanted to, I could put all of my drives back in the HL15 and put Unraid on that and put all of my storage together. And I still don't know if I would have, that much storage, because I think I've got a couple of 10s and a couple of 12s, and everything else I've got is 8s. Vass says I used to have, I have to use names like this. My storage name was Lisa. I kept getting messages from Lisa's monitoring software. My ex got jealous. So no more names like that. That's really funny. That also seems like setting yourself up for failure, especially if you've got a jealous partner. My first Synology I named Jarvis. That was years ago. The Proxmox that I've got set up on the ZimaCube, I just named it ProxCube because I'm tired of naming things. I'm so tired of naming things. I had a couple of TerraMaster NASAs. One was a 2-bay and one was a 4-bay. And I named them Jay and Silent Bob. But for the most part, I just name it in a way that I can quickly remember what it is. And I try to incorporate something in there that will make me remember what it is. But yeah, I hate naming things so much. I hate naming things. Let's see what else we got here. Of course, it's zoom out. There we go. Is that the last one? I feel like we missed some stuff. Looked at that. Maybe that was all of it. Oh, no. Storage. Okay, so this is on your Proxmox setup. You got like 60 terabytes there. I mean, give or take. And I'm guessing a caching drive as well. And that looks like a great, great little setup you got there. I wonder what your thoughts are on the Prox Minux or Prox Menu X or whatever. I've seen this, but I've never actually used it. So I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are on using it. Because again, I've got no experience with it at all. Jason says I need to make sure Nutworks power is awful where I live now. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I Pegaprox. I name pretty much everything on my network. Even my 2 Tinker Stitches are named Blurp and Blarp. Names mean nothing. It made me giggle when I said the name out loud, so it stuck. Whatever works for you, man. I'm very my brain has some really, really dumb days. And so I try to make sure that I don't do anything to confuse myself as much as I can anyway. I used to see drives and stuff. I haven't played with it that much. Fair enough. I wasn't sure what it was actually good for. So graphics cards, so you got a 1050 Ti and the iGPU. Yep. I mean, it's a good overview of what's in there for hardware, so I don't hate that. I might have to give it a look. Pegaprox looks cool. I just use PDM. I tried using PDM a while back when I was doing some migrating, and it failed as often as it worked. It was just easier to run backups of everything to my Proxmox backup solution and then restore everything later, because it would just fail randomly, and I got really tired of that. So, this is your TDAR box. I would love to optimize my setup with TDAR, but I tried using it a couple years ago, and I was almost in tears by the end of it because I was so frustrated. I just couldn't get it to work. I tried watching a couple of tutorials, and they're just like, here's how I saved myself 80 terabytes of data using TDAR, but didn't actually explain how to use TDAR. So I was like, well, thanks for nothing. So I don't know what my plan is, but I'd like to use it to make things better. Did membership price increase from $1? Am I thinking of a different channel? So, great question. I'd be happy to address that. So, on YouTube, channel membership on YouTube is $5.99 because YouTube takes about half. Also on YouTube, when somebody becomes a channel member, I don't actually get access to that money until the following month. So if you became a member today, I would get paid on that April 21st, roughly. I'd get paid on the April 21st. However, if you go over to Patreon and become a member there, then it's $1 a month. I've actually got several different price ranges that you can choose from. They all offer the exact same thing, and that is because of my childhood, if I'm being completely honest. As a kid, I grew up with no money. Like I lived on government cheese. Once a year, the VFW would bring me a coat for the winter, like no money. So I didn't get to participate in a lot of the things that kids in my school did, book fairs, things like that. Like I didn't get to participate because I didn't have any money. So what I did with Patreon is I think I've got 4 or 5 levels of like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 20 or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they all get the exact same thing. If you want to support and you can support for $1 a month, then cool, do that. But I don't want you to not get access to the same thing that somebody who can and wants to support with more money, right? It's a weird thing about scarcity or whatever. So Patreon is where you can join for $1 a month or like $10 a year. So and again, I did that because I know what it's like to want to do something but not have the money to do it. And so I tried to build a solution that would afford people to do what made them more comfortable and not miss out on anything. So yeah. All right, so back over to here. 12th gen i5 12400, 6 cores, 12 threads, 48 gigs. There was a different tech YouTuber. Sorry. There was a different tech YouTuber who was streaming and making fun of people for not being able to afford $20. I don't want to know who that YouTuber is. I don't. Screw that person, man. Screw them in their ear. Like, with the way things are going right now, around the world, prices are up on everything. Everything is more expensive. $20 can be the difference of making sure a power bill is paid or making sure you've got food. So if they think $20 is something to criticize people over, screw them. They're saying all of their viewers are basically in the tech industry, so they should be able to afford it. They have a very skewed version of reality, in my opinion. Housing costs are up, utility prices are up, gas prices are up, food prices are up, tech prices are up. I can't think of anything right now where prices aren't up. And if they want to ridicule their audience for not having an extra $20 to give them, they can get fucked. Like, that's the only thing I can say there, is if they're going to criticize somebody for not matching what their standards are, I would unsubscribe from them and never watch their content again. That is such an awful approach to humanity, that if they would do something like that. So again, I don't want to know who it is, because I will, my brain won't let go of it. So, yeah. So anyway, that's awful. I want to apologize on their behalf, because that's such a shitty thing to say to a group of people, whether it's one person or the 35 of you that are here or whatever. That is such an awful mindset to be in, and to try to ridicule your audience. That's not how you build a community. That's how you push people away and tell people that you're very, very out of touch. That sucks. I have nothing but bad things to say about that person. Yeah, lots of shitty people in the world. It's so true. And look, you know what? Here's the thing. I could probably make a lot more money if I let my morals go. And I'm not saying that this is a moral issue necessarily, though I think it is. I get so many different opportunities to promote different products and services that would pay me, $500 for a video, or $1,000 or $2,000 for a video. But I turn it down. And then, look, I'm not trying to say poor me, pity me, I'm a good person. It's not that. It's because I try to be honest and upfront and transparent about everything, really. Sometimes to a fault, right? And a lot of these people, a lot of these organizations that are reaching out to me are very often AI SaaS platforms, and they usually will pay very well to a creator who will put out a video about their product or their service, and I always turn them down, because I don't know where their data was trained, though I've got a pretty good idea. I don't know what they're doing with the data that's coming in. I don't know anything about this stuff. And if I don't know what's going on with that data, I have a problem telling people to go give people, or to give these organizations their data, right? So I'm very much against promoting services that I wouldn't personally use. A lot of them are also AI video and picture slop, and I'll never promote that. It's different if you're self-hosting, an AI thing that will do that. But using a third-party solution, And there are so many of them out there. But using one of those solutions that's using too much power, that's taking hardware away from people, that's taking electricity away from communities, that's taking hardware away from the tech community. Screw all of them. I will never promote them. And that's costing me a small fortune because I could be making a ton of money promoting those services. And I have to wonder, and again, I don't necessarily want to know if the creator in question here that was criticizing people over $20, if they are the type of the type of creator who would also promote that kind of nonsense. And if that's how they want to run their channel, they have every right to do that. Though my brain won't let me, right? I would love to make a ton more money. Absolutely. Who wouldn't? But I have guidelines in place for my own set of morals that says don't do that because you're just becoming part of the problem. So that's kind of where I am. Helpful Tech City DIY. Thank you for donating 10 memberships. I want to be clear when I go on these tirades. I know it can come off weird, but I'm genuinely not asking for sympathy here. I'm not asking for that kind of thing, though I very, very much appreciate it. Spectacular Austin says, that's why I love this channel and you care about the community. I remember when I first started self-hosting, you were willing to spend your own free time to help me with my setup, with my Pi. I remember that. And, you know, I guess it's just one of those things, right? Like my goal here with this channel and my other social medias, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Mastodon or Blue Sky, links to all of those in a thing somewhere down below this video. My goal is to build a community of people who can help each other and answer questions for each other and that sort of thing. And I think it's what? No, stop. That was stupid. And I feel like it's important to have a community, right? Especially with all of the nonsense going on in the world. There's so much tribalism out there. Everything from politics to sports to whatever, right? There's tribalism, and of course that's an evolutionary thing, and that's how we made it to this part of humanity. Whether you believe in creationism or whatever, like it was coming together as a community to help each other and grow and flourish, right? Tribalism has got us to this point in society. It's also gotten us to a different point in society that I don't want to get into, but my goal here was always to help, or was to try to build a community of like-minded people who would be willing to help people answer questions, do those sorts of things. And I think it's important that we learn that not everybody is where we are. You know, like when I first got into making content, I loved the idea of creating content, but I shouldn't have started my channel when I did, if I'm completely honest. My mental health was the worst it had ever been. I was a terrible, terrible person. In my comment section, I was angry. I was full of hate. And I was a really awful person to people asking questions in my comment section, because I had it in my head of like, I learned this, why can't you? Or why don't you know this if I know this? And it took me a long time to realize not everybody, like everybody has to start somewhere, you know, and when I started, I had questions as well. And there was one person on Reddit that is at least partially responsible for me knowing Docker, at least to a certain degree, or introducing me to Docker and its very basic fundamentals. And I didn't. That person was like, "Hey, here's Docker. Here's what to know about it. Here's how to get started. Here's some resources." And I immediately took that kindness and threw it away. Like, I thanked them for helping me, but as soon as other people asked me for help, I threw that away. And I hate myself for having been that person for so long. And I think that's part of why I've kept going and why I still try to help people when I can, because not everybody knows what I know. And there's a lot of you in the community who know more than I do and are quick to, to correct me and to fill in the blank when I forget a word or a person or a container or an operating system or whatever. Like, you guys are always very quick to help me. And that's the kind of community that I've wanted for a really long time. Um, so, um, so yeah, I think it's important that we all help each other and understand that yes, maybe I've been doing this for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever. There are people in the community who weren't alive 20 years ago. So there's no way they've got as much experience as I do. And I'm not saying I've got 20 years of experience. I'm just using that as an example. But I think it's easy to forget that everybody has to start somewhere. And it took me a long time to learn that. But I try to, even, and some days it's hard, but I try to remember that even now, that we all have to start somewhere, and we don't know what we don't know. So we have to ask questions to learn those things. So yeah. um, let's see. Austin says, I put a lot of hard work in your suggestions and appreciate you so much for giving product suggestions that were actually worth it, that I still use today. And that's something I struggle with right now, because tech prices are through the roof. Like, I've got tech here I should have done reviews on already, but it's like, is this tech even affordable now? Because, like, it's so, anyway, I'm glad you found my stuff, my suggestions helpful. Those social media sites tell everything about someone's tribal sensitivity. To put it lightly, yeah. Awful commenter equals Linux experts. That's funny. All right, let's get back over to here. I've been ranting for a while, and I need some more lemon water. Wait. This has got 96 gigs of memory in it, right? Bay 1, Bay 2, effectively. That's a lot of memory, man. I've only got one device with that much memory in it. Right, got so lucky when I upgraded the RAM in my Proxmox server, the price hadn't jumped. Yeah, I my Alaris one has 96 gigs in it. My previous Zima Cube had 32 gigs in it. Right now I'm testing the Zima Cube 2. And I had a 64 gig kit laying around because I bought it for a project and then never did that project. So I had the 64 gigs laying around. I threw it in there, swapped everything over. It's been rock solid since. And it's nice to have the extra breathing room on the Zima Cube. Or the Zima Cube with Proxmox on it. And here is your Proxmox server. I kept putting memory in my cart last year and thought, just a little lower. Yeah. When talking about RAM prices being high a few months back, and then it jumped even higher, especially after Crucial, right? So mad at Micron for shutting down Crucial. So mad at them for that. Like, they could have been the consumer brand and made so much money. And like they could have single-handedly, I think if everybody else had jumped ship to do business to business, if Crucial had kept doing consumer, I think they could have made just as much money just selling consumer RAM. I think they were very short-sighted in that, and I really feel like if they had stayed consumer, that they could have made a ton of money picking up where everybody else screwed the community. But I don't know. I'm not good at business, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but it just seems like they really screwed us over on that. So we got some LXCs here. Pulse. I really should look at Pulse. I know Pulse comes up quite a bit in Discord. I've never actually looked at it. Dash, Syncthing, Bitcoin, Mempool, Bookstack. Yeah, I've still run Bookstack. Very cool. Yeah. And Heimdall. I ran Heimdall for a while. Man, so much. And this, I think this is what I hate about dashboards, is that it's so easy to put everything there. Unless there's like a slash command where you can search. You like on your keyboard, hit the slash, and then you can search for it. Because like looking at this, it's overwhelming for me, and I know part of that is a me issue. But it's so, there's so much here that I would never use this. Like I'm using, yeah, or maybe folders in it, yeah, something, I don't know. But like my homepage is mostly just data about my home lab and what's going on. Because I don't actually have that many services that I use. It's an ADHD issue, 100% it is. And I'm on drugs for it, and it's helped, but not enough. I wish there was grouping. Yeah. There are others out there. Like there's a new version of the Glances dashboard that I'm going to probably cover here soon. It's been forked and it's been modified, and there's new stuff in it that I may actually implement because it's also got some good widgets in it as well. But yeah, no, like my ADHD just can't process this. This is how I get to my IP or services without remembering an IP address. That's fair. It doesn't hide the visual overwhelm. Yeah. Most of the stuff that I need access to, if I'm honest, like, I wonder. Yeah. So this is kind of how I do it, right? And look, this is how it works for me. I'm not saying everybody should do this. This is how I do it. Let me oops. Oh, never mind. I just type in like N8N, for instance. Damn it. And then it just pops up in my browser, and then I go to it. So that's how I do most of my local stuff. But a lot of the stuff that I do is on a domain, so I can just do, game.dbtechreviews.com or, whatever the address is to, like, I've got a lot of the actual domain names memorized. But if it's local stuff like this, I can usually just type in the name of the service, and then my browser will automatically pick it up. Also, while we're here, this is my most current workflow that I've got set up in N8N. This is not using a reverse proxy. It's not. I don't have this online at all. Like my fresh RSS. Like I can just go there. There's fresh RSS. Use Linux. Yeah, if Linux was more friendly with the Adobe stuff, I would. But I just type in the service name in my browser and it pops up the address. And that's how I access it. But like this, I just finally got this workflow finalized this morning, and I'm really, really happy with it. It's how I get notifications every morning at like 6 o'clock to let me know which services that I'm monitoring have updates, so that I can put out social media posts about them. It's kind of my little contribution to the community to send out notifications about a bunch of different self-hosted services. But this one of these two nodes right here filters out the stuff that's like release candidates or betas, things like that. It filters that sort of stuff out, and then it finds it, and then like one item at a time will process everything through Claude to just kind of summarize it and give me a quick little post, and then also post it on Discord and then mark it as read over on Fresh RSS. When I had 5 things in Fresh RSS, it was fine. When I've got like 90, I hit API limits and that sort of thing on both Claude and Discord. So I had to put it in this loop to do one thing at a time, and then wait 10 seconds and then do the next one, and then wait 10 seconds, do the next one. But this has been my big project. It's taken me almost 2 months to get this exactly how I want it. Yay for Claude. Let's come back over here for just a second. Duke Seb says, what's up, DB Tech? Happy weekend. I hope you're doing okay. Doing all right. Thank you very much. I also hope you're doing well. Glad to have you here. Let's see. Most of my stuff I hit tail scale to get to. That's fair, especially with you being on the road so much, Glenn. The issue, we've talked about this in other live streams as well, is that tail scale by default puts everything on a different subnet. I know there are subnet routers. I haven't learned them. I don't know anything about them other than they exist. But like all of my, like I know most of the IP addresses for the stuff that I hit locally a lot. And trying to remember the tail scale IP or setting up a subnet, whatever. If I need access to it at home, I've got ways I can do that. I can actually use the Unify, I think it's the Wi-Fi Man app from Unify that will let me get back. Yeah, it's Wi-Fi Man. It will actually get on my local network on my phone, and I can get to it that way. I know that not everybody has Unify, and that's fine. Tail scale, zero tier. There are a couple others. Those I know that those are big project or big things that people use for remote access. And if it works, then man, have at, because that's like Austin said, it's actually really powerful, and it's way beyond my scope of knowledge. Most I use Cloudflare tunnels for most of my remote access stuff, and then do IP restricting on the stuff that I don't want public. And that's just how I handle it. Yeah, NetBird's another really big one that people are using. I actually talked about it a little bit last week, that NetBird and Pangolin are kind of becoming the same app. NetBird started on doing tech one way, and Pangolin started doing tech another way. And then they just started adding like features in reverse. So now that they're kind of becoming the same app, just handled differently. Use Cloudflare tunnel for the domain stuff. Yeah, I've been a big fan of Cloudflare for a really long time. Like I've been using Cloudflare for their DNS for 15 years or something. Never used the Wi-Fi Man app myself. I've only used it a couple of times. Once was just to see if that's what it actually did. And once was because I really needed it to do the thing, and I didn't have any other remote options to get on my network quickly. So, and that's because I don't have anything open on my network. I don't have any. I take that back. I've got a port open for a game, and I had to open ports 80 and 443 because of my my fiber node. I can't think of what that node is called, that like the actual box inside my house. If I didn't put that, the ONT, I think is what it's called. If I didn't put that in bridge mode, my Unify stuff wouldn't work. So by default, that opened ports 80 and 443. So I just did a redirect on those two ports to go somewhere else. Like if you go to my IP address, it actually redirects you to a different website entirely. And that was very much by design. So I've only got a couple of things open, but I kind of had to for that. Jump back over here. Glenn has Dockage. I'm so skeptical of Dockage at this point, or DocJ, or whatever the hell it's called, because it hasn't received a full update in like a year. Patrick Arnold, thank you for that. I appreciate the compliment. I try to be a good person. I have my bad days as well. I just try not to be online when I'm having those days, because not everybody needs to see what a bag of dicks I can be some days, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I was a big fan of Dockage when it first came out, and then Louis Lamb kind of put that to the side to get Uptime Kuma 2 out. and I haven't seen a lot of work done on Dockage since then. I've seen a couple of updates, but no actual full releases in like a year, and that always worries me. So that's the last one, I think. Yeah, that's the last image there. Let's come back over what else? Zero port forwarding done. Few select services on a VPS, mainly Vault Warden. That's fair. Instance of N8N, but haven't done anything with it. It's not accessible from outside, so I'm not too worried about it. That's fair. Yeah. Use direct IP access for a few things like Audio Bookshelf and Mealy. Cloudflare tunnels with Google Auth. Love that. Dedicated KVM for both Proxmox server and Unraid. Kind of a floating KVM that I use to just get to keyboard and mouse and monitor to anything. That's cool. I've actually got an opportunity to take a look at a new KVM style device that I'm kind of intrigued about, but I need to respond to them. What notepad is this? This is Obsidian. I started using Obsidian a few weeks ago, and I love it. I've also got Obsidian on my phone and on my computer and there, and then I've got something called LiveSync set up so that, like if I'm here, maybe I can even show you. Let me see here. Let's go to Obsidian, and again, I'm on my phone here. Let me come over. Oh, DynaCat was the name of the thing I was trying to remember earlier. Let's do this. Why? Here we go. Let's come into Homelab submissions. Let's go to Glenn. Where are we? I have zero port forward open. Right. So if I come over to here and do hi. So again, I'm doing that on my phone, right? So it's a live sync. And I've been a big fan of having this set up for a while, because I needed a good note solution. And like, over here, I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I've been doing better about organizing things. Having Obsidian has just made my life easier for note taking, jotting down quick things, all of this. And I'm such a big fan of Obsidian, and I put it off for so long, because I thought you had to use their service to synchronize things across devices. And this has been amazing. So I've been using Obsidian for a while. Glenn goes on to say, if I were starting again, I would definitely take more time buying better hardware the first time around, even if I had to order parts over several months rather than trying to get the whole thing up and running in 5 days. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. There have been times I thought about scrapping everything and starting over, but that makes me sad. I mean, as much as I would love to do things a bit differently with a few different things, I've got years of information on, like, in fact, if I do like this, right? So this is dbtechreviews.com, right? My last post was 12 days ago on here. And, I haven't always been good about keeping things updated. This goes back to October. But this is more than 8 years worth of information. And I don't want to lose that. In fact, this website has been in existence. Now, this is actually WordPress. This has been in dbtechreviews.com has been in existence longer than I've been self-hosting. This actually used to be hosted on HostGator. All right, and then I moved it somewhere else. I don't remember where I moved it to after that. But then one day I was like, screw it. Like, I'm already self-hosting a couple of different things. And then I was like, screw it, I'm going to bring everything in, because I got tired of paying like $10 a month for the hosting solution that I was using. And I bit the bullet and I brought it in-house, and I've I've been self-hosting it ever since. I've moved it around a few times, and moving WordPress can really be a pain in the ass. So I don't want to do it again. I also looked at possibly moving this over to Ghost at one point, but the tags and categorization are so wildly different between Ghost and WordPress that it was going to be a logistical nightmare. So I just never did. I've been using WordPress for so long. Like even like this goes back to 2018, but like I was using WordPress back in like 2012, 2013 when I building websites and themes and custom themes and all kinds of stuff back in the day. This isn't that though, obviously. And then yeah, here's this where you can find me all over the place, and you can share your Homelab right there. Here's the link. Here's all my social medias. And if you want to submit your Homelab, there's a link for that right there. But yeah, there's a lot of things I would like to do differently, but just don't have the wherewithal to actually do. So yeah. Oh, here we've got all your stuff. We kind of looked through this in the images. Glenn, thanks for sharing that. I did my first webpage on dial-up back in the 90s. Yeah, I started learning HTML back in the late 90s with like GeoCities. I started there, and then started learning HTML by like looking at the source code of different websites. Got into building websites in Notepad, and then started using Front Page, and then got into Dreamweaver. I've kind of run the gamut, but didn't actually start hosting anything until just a few years ago. So yeah, that's kind of how that's gone. Let's see. Let me pull this open over here so you guys can't see it for just a minute. I want to see what else we've got here. Let me see what we've got. I've got two other submissions here. I think next, I remember moving from Notepad to Dreamweaver. It took me a long time to move to Dreamweaver because like, I heard about Dreamweaver for the first time in like 97 or 98, I think. It may have been 99. I was still in high school when I first heard about it. And I went and looked it up because I was like, I'll give it a try and I'll see. And you could buy Dreamweaver for like $900. And that was in like late 90s money. And I was like, well, that's never going to happen. So a bit later, I pirated it for a while and used it. Now I've got the Adobe subscription. So they've definitely got their money out of me. But yeah, switching over to Dreamweaver was huge when I finally did it. I never really liked Front Page, but it worked and I was able to do stuff with it. I built a couple of things with it and it worked out pretty well, but yeah, I like getting in there and actually writing the code and not just using an interface. Well, so I talked my boss into it to buying it to let me compare that. See, that's how you do that. Yeah, I think I was a senior in high school when I first heard about it. Did Dreamweaver launch? 1997 by Macromedia. I had forgotten about Macromedia. Of course, they bought, or Adobe bought them in 2005, but I'd forgotten about Macromedia. They also had, was it Cold Fusion? I think Macromedia also had Cold Fusion. Media, Cold Fusion, MX, yeah. Which was also a web development platform. I never used Cold Fusion. That was way above my ability back then. But I remember it being a thing and being really intrigued by it. But I just couldn't wrap my head around it. In '97, I was helping people with their Bornelli drives. I'm not sure what those are. I've actually got to Google that, Glenn. I don't know what those are. Bornelli drives. Oh, the iOmega stuff. Okay, that's why. Dreamweaver website designs using tables. Good times. Yeah, I remember doing tables. I remember when divs it started coming into play, and separate style sheets, rather than just having your tables and all of your table styles and all of that built into like all of that. Bernoulli, you were very close, Glenn. But I remember when we went from having tables and all of the styles in the tables to divs and separate style sheets, and I'm like, this will never catch on. This is so unnecessary. Why would you add all of this extra stuff? It's just going to slow things down. Why wouldn't you just do everything right here? And I was wrong. I was very wrong. The idea of putting an inline style in a div or in a table, because tables are still useful sometimes. Uh, but then I realized, oh, no, you can do so much more with divs. And this is even before, like responsive designs and mobile first designs. This was even before that. And I was like, oh, you can do more with divs, but there's a bigger learning curve. But again, coming from tables, it sounds like Geeky Dad did the same thing. But yeah, it was a huge change for me. And then when I started doing that, I was like, oh, there's a lot that you can do with this now. And I haven't touched, actually haven't touched code to speak of in 5 or 6 years. And I looked at some of it recently and I was like, this is not at all what I signed up for 15 years ago. Like divs and style sheets and all of that are so wildly different even now, that I will buy themes at this point. I am done trying to pretend that I am a front-end developer, because I did that for a long time and had good success with it. But now things have gone too far. Yeah, I'm lost trying to do web stuff now. Yeah, 100%. Like I can still do the old stuff that I was familiar with back in the day, but some of the new stuff is just beyond me. So I moved on to straight server technologies once the HTML excitement wore off for me. That's fair. I never really went much beyond that. I did a little PHP. I learned a little bit of ASP and a little bit of ASP.NET as my first web development job. And then that ASP and .NET were my first web dev job. Then I got into things like Joomla, landed my next web dev job doing that. And then Joomla like 2.5 and 3 came out, and they were security nightmares. The security implementation on them were garbage, which is part of the reason I started really forcing people over to Cloudflare for extra security. And then I moved over to WordPress, and did that for a number of years. Started using Tailwind a few years ago. So has AI. Tailwind is a really popular CSS framework. It works. It looks good. It's whatever. But AI is a big fan of Tailwind as well, and that's why a lot of the AI generated stuff all kind of looks the same. It's because it uses Tailwind. Love Handles says, I'm lucky to have a CSS experts on the team. Throw something functional over the wall and get something pretty back. Yeah, I believe that. You can do so much stuff with CSS these days that I just can't even wrap my head around. So, all right. Well, let's take a look at Forsaken One. I don't even know if Forsaken One is here today. I know he wanted to be here for taking a look at this, and I wish he was here. But I don't know if he is. I haven't seen him pop up in chat at all today, and that's unfortunate. But let's take a look at Forsaken One over here. He starts off by saying, let me start with, sorry it's all over the place, just how my brain works sometimes, especially when trying to explain what I have going on in my lab and network. I've read it a few times and it still doesn't seem to be all over, but people don't see things the way I do. And I totally understand that. I also believe that that is probably an ADHD thing as well. But so I'm not going to judge. I very much ramble too much. It says, I'm Zach in real life. I have lived in Texas since retiring from the Army as an E7, as a communication specialist, as a 25U. I was also in communications in the Army. I was in the National Guard. It was a 31 Charlie Army, 31 Charlie. Yeah. So I ended up being a 31 Charlie, which is a radio maintainer or operator and maintainer. I went in to be a 31 uniform? Yeah, it's a signal support system specialist. That's what I wanted to enlist as, but I'm colorblind, I found out. And as a colorblind person, you can't be a 31 uniform in the Army. So they were offering like $8,000 signing bonuses back in like 2000. And I was like, cool, I will stay in here. We can do this thing. Because my ASVAB scores were high enough, I could pick any job I wanted. But I really wanted to be a 31 uniform. And they're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, you need to keep me in communications so that I get this $8,000 bonus. And they're like, cool, you can be a 31 Charlie, which I talked on the radio and I set up radio communications for my unit. And I set up encrypted communications on the Singars for the Hummers and the tanks and that sort of thing, so that when we were out doing encrypted drills of like war simulations, you know, this side could talk to their team and that side could talk to their team, but the communications wouldn't overlap because they had different encryption. That's what I did. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I got to drive the Hummers. I spent some time on tanks, setting up their stuff. I got to do armored personnel carriers. I got to drive those around a lot because I got to drive those around a lot. Like I just really enjoyed it, so they let me, which I loved. But no, that's cool. I love seeing somebody else in the communication field there. Oh, there we go. This is way behind. Holy cow. There we go. I'm online as Forsaken on Discord and on YouTube. Shows as Forsaken 1776. I've watched your YouTube channel for a long time now. Started with a Terramaster 2-bay back in 2015 or so, and then added pies. Now I have the beast that you see now. We'll take a look at that in a minute. The beast is named Shit Show because I was having so many issues getting it going. I was pissed off when it finally worked. So the name stuck. I get that. I totally get that. Still have some pies running around the house. 2 are for Rasplex and 1 is for Motion Eye. The other's just sitting on my desk waiting for me to find a use for it. About half of what I have in the servers for free. I paid for the motherboard, fans, and some cabling and power supply. Well, let's take a quick look at some pictures here. Those are still Glenn's pictures. Let's come over to here and let's start there. There we go, like that. Oops, that wasn't it. This is what I wanted to minimize. There we go. All right, so we've got a router. It's an ASUS router as an access point. Cisco 3560G 48 port PoE. Don't hate it. I've never used any Cisco stuff. I don't think ever. I don't think I've ever touched a piece of Cisco hardware. Just one of those random thoughts. Home Assistant. Whoa, I didn't know you could do this. Like, that is insane. I didn't know you could do this in Home Assistant. Like, I'd heard of people building out or this kind of thing over here on the right. I've never seen something like this. That said, I don't have a Fire TV, so maybe that's a Fire TV specific thing. I don't know. That's crazy. I've never seen that. Cool. So we've got some cameras here. We've got some music. I'd be curious to know if this is, oh, thank you so much. Yay. Thank you. Iced tea. with a lot of lemon in the bottom. Whew. It's all right. Thank you. Ooh, I think she put lemon and then ice and then tea, and I just got all of the lemon all at once. Did it say Roku? Am I really that dumb? Interesting. It's just iced tea. It's nothing flavored. Just standard iced tea with lemon in the bottom. So I'm gonna stir that a little bit because holy cow, green button. Man, I must be really dumb. This green button says Hulu. Right? This button. Anyway, some Reolink stuff, music, Harmony Hub, some lamp control. Sorry, my brain being dumb. That love to beautify my Home Assistant, but have no idea how. There are skins that you can get that somebody's reached out to me about a couple of skins. It's just dashboard building, man, and it's one of those things that you either love or hate. And I guess I love hating it or something. My dashboards aren't nearly this nice. I guess a couple of them are all right, but man, here we go. This is from a live stream. I can see Nighthawk in there. Anyway, looks like we got two CPUs in there. We've got an Intel Sparkle Arc card in there for transcoding. Got a bunch of hard drives, some Raspberry Pis. Mono gateway router, have old eyes, and a small screen. But again, no judgment. So mono gateway router. Oops, that was weird. Screenshot. So just some stuff that's running Home Assistant, Kali VM, Ventura, Windows 11, Unify Access Point. Love those. I've got one in the house that just brilliant. Love it. Unraid dashboard. Looks like we've got a bunch of CPU cores in there. It's a Xeon CPU. System. Memory, 320 gigs of DDR4. Holy crap. And it's ECC, which is great. You can kind of see how 291 gigs free. That's amazing. You see there's CPU loads there. You can see the apps that are running, Plex and Deluge and Unify, Radar, some other R's, Tautulli, Ombi, Unraid, Cloudflare Tunnel, some more acquisition stuff, N8N, which again, I'm still learning, MeTube, Olama, kind of it looks like there's only a few things stopped. I thought that there was more than that, but no, this is great. IPMI sensors, that looks really good. It's also good to know, I guess, that Unraid can handle IPMI sensors or sensors like that anyway. These temperatures seem high to me. Is it just me, or do those temperatures seem high? This is memory. 10 gig temp. Dude, these SFP Plus ports, man, they always run too hot. Like, they need their own cooling system. I have to assume that is an SFP port. 171. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's the conversion I'm not making. Still, 171 degrees is almost hot enough to boil water. That has got to be an SFP port, and that is too hot. Like, you'd hurt yourself on that. 41 degrees. Okay, thank you for the conversion, Vaz. I appreciate that. But you're right. I'm here, but we're driving to Micro Center, so not going to chat. That's fair. I appreciate you stopping by, Collins. No, you're right. This is, I did this to myself once. I decided one day that I was going to switch all of my temperatures to Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, and woke up the next morning and panicked because I saw these numbers, and immediately I did the same thing then that I just did of these numbers immediately, even though the F was there being like, that's wrong. But no, thank you for that. I I think it's the first time I've seen somebody else flip things over to Fahrenheit. So it just threw me. So, oops, there we go. Oh man, God, I look like garbage in that. Today's Homelab, it must have been, from March 21st. F stands for fake, right? Yeah. Since there's only was it like 3 countries in the world that use it consistently? You said the S&P was 171. That's 77 high. That's high. Yeah, like that 171 degrees Fahrenheit is really hot. And will likely start failing at some point. If only we'd completed the metric conversions in the 70s, dude, right? I genuinely wish we had. They tried again in the 80s momentarily, but normal S&P transceiver operation typically range from 32 to 158 Fahrenheit or 0 to 70 Celsius. Yeah, that is too hot. I'm surprised that that's not failing. I dig the setup. I like the two PC thing there. I've got something like that Cisco rack or that Cisco switch we saw down there. I've actually got something similar going on over here behind my 3D printer, where I've got a PoE switch from TP-Link, I think, or whatever their Omada line. I don't remember if it's TP-Link or Omada, but it's a PoE switch for a couple of cameras and whatnot. And yeah, it's just sitting on the floor, kind of like this is down here. So actually, I honestly think that's pretty funny. We've been shadow changing over the last decades. We should just get it done. I agree. Like in tech, it's very common to use Celsius. Whether we're talking about 2280 drives or the NVMEs, or we're talking about temperatures or whatever. In medicine, it's a lot of the metric system, but the average, and I don't say this to be mean or whatever, right? But the average person out there doesn't understand the metric system at all. In fact, there's a joke that goes around every once in a while on social media about how Wendy's, I think, tried to do a third pounder burger, but it failed because people were convinced that the quarter pounder was more meat than the third pounder. And I think that says a lot. Everything is a combination of metric and imperial. It absolutely is. And I wish we could just pick one. It would make things so much better in the long run. But I just don't know that we are ready for that in the grand scheme of things. Oops. Is that the last one? That was the last picture. All right, well, we've looked through the pictures. So this is my Homelab, I guess you could call it. The tower on top of the desk is the actual server with a Fantex Enthoo Pro 2 server edition. 11 PCI slots, that's insane. 15 fan positions, tempered glass, love all of that. It also has an LSI Broadcom adapter for the SAS drives, 6 Noctua NFP14s. Love that. Have 4 VMs, Home Assistant, Kali, macOS. We saw those, but I really only use Home Assistant, and I'm pretty sure everything is clean as far as IPs. Any info that shouldn't be there, you can share with them. That's good. I'm hoping this makes a live and I'm there so I can help make sense of it. I think this explanation is actually pretty good. Again, I wish he had been here, but again, lots of great information here. A ton of memory, lots of storage, Docker list. We kind of looked through that. And then my plugin list are used from some of my leftovers. This is where I would have questions. I don't know where these plugins are plugged in, I guess. I'm not sure about that. So definitely, damn, I bit my tongue. So definitely curious about the plugins. But you got a slight, when NASA's Mars climate orbiter exploded on launch back in 99, due to half the calculations were made in metric and half were made in imperial, and nobody, I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah, that's why we need to standardize, or they need to do better documentation or something. I don't know what. They look unrated-ish. Okay. Yeah, I'm not, again, I've got no experience with Unraid. So hard to say, but you're probably right. So that is Forsaken 1. And I think we've got one more to take a quick look at. This is Lester Nichols submitted. Give me just a second here. Lester Nichols. All right, let's take a quick look. Whoa. Bro. All right, now now I feel inadequate. So let's go over to here. Oops, let's close this so that there's no confusion. Let's go over to here. All right, so this is Lester Nichols. And located in Texas, my home lab is built for use with my home network and lab security testing for my books. It's built within a 42U sysracks enclosed rack. I primarily use Debian 12 and 13, where it's required Ubuntu 20 plus. I've also been testing Rocky Linux. Most services are running via Docker with Portainer for management. I run my website from home and some other services, including internal AI server with 4 GPUs and 512 gigs of RAM with a 32-core AMD EPYC. We're going to see this here in a minute. The lab portion allows me to test and create examples for either teaching or book references to mimic enterprise security environments to provide scalable capabilities. I have 217 total terabytes of storage capacity across all storage environments. Fiber internet's a 5 gig synchronous. Love that. I've only got 3. I could go to 8, but I can't even handle the 3 that I've got. 3x Proxmox cluster, 352 total CPU cores. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this over here, and then I think I'm just going to do this. We're going to load a slideshow because this is insane, and I'm just going to read some stuff while this is playing. Because, man, 45 drives, 15 professional storage server, Houston front on Rocky Linux, EPYC 16 core, 32 gigs RAM, 72 terabytes of storage. TrueNAS appliance with 58 terabytes of storage, Synology appliance with 10.5 terabytes of storage, unified multiple VLAN for physical and virtual segmentation. So this is getting into the Synology or the unified stuff. He's got an EFG, a USW Pro aggregation. Holy balls. Let's go back. Oh, really? Son of a bitch. Sorry, I really wanted to look at that. Right? Like, holy balls indeed. Wow, I feel so inadequate right now. That's insane. So I'm just going to leave it paused here for a second. I have one of those triplet UPSs. Yeah. Also using OpenSense, ZenArmor, Suricata, Graylog, Nginx for load balancing and web servers, Pi-hole. I'll just go ahead and play this again. Pi-hole and Unbound or Technetium DNS, 4 internal between physical and VM-based, NTP, internal NTP. I actually want to talk to you guys about NTP here in a moment. Portainer, Docker, Waza, Greenbone scanning, Wiki for notes, Rust desk for remote management, TwinGate working on getting networked as an alternative, NFS for network storage for servers and VMs, and Ansible starting work with Terraform. I've also included pictures. Yep. And he's got a book. Man, this is, dude, right? If I won the lottery, right? This is insane to me. But like he mentioned over here, he's got a book. I'm actually gonna take a look at the book because I'm curious, right? Like, because it sounds like this guy, like, based on his hardware, I wouldn't want to see his power bill, right? I hope he's got solar. I genuinely hope he's got solar because I can't imagine. Yeah, the cybersecurity architect's handbook. This is great. Over here, you'd have to keep winning the lottery to afford energy bills. Yeah, that sucks. Gain insights into cybersecurity architect role and master key skills to excel in it. Acquire a diverse set of skill set for becoming a cybersecurity architect through up-to-date practical examples. Discover valuable tips and best practices to launch your career in cybersecurity. Purchase of the print or Kindle book includes a free PDF ebook. That's cool. That's man, that's crazy. Excuse me. Man, that's such an intense home lab, or not even necessarily just a home lab, but a lab in general. All of this Unify stuff up here, all this storage here, guessing Proxmox nodes here, and then of course power management down there. I actually really like this on air neon. I would love to actually get something like that. I think that would look good. Man, well done on that. I really appreciate them sharing this because that's pretty intense. Like that is super intense. Okay, so NTP stuff, right? Everybody's doing self-hosted NTP recently, and I don't know why. Can you guys tell me why everybody is self-hosting NTP stuff? I'm genuinely not sure about that. And I would like to feel less dumb, and I hope maybe you guys can help me feel less dumb here, because I don't know why everybody lately feels the need to host NTP. Collins, bro, you're not wrong, but because we can. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I guess that's the answer I should have expected. It's the answer I deserve. You guys are right, because we can. That's really funny. Was hoping for more than that, but I don't personally see the practicality of it. Maybe it's just because I'm not into the hobby that requires it or whatever. But good on you, I guess. Really, we're going to autofocus right there. There we go. All right. Can't keep time as it is, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. But I'm glad you guys have hobbies within hobbies within hobbies, because that seems to be the thing these days. The answer is perfect. Yeah. Because you can, I guess. Those builds were fun to see. Yeah, I agree. I hope that more people will submit more of them, because I really do like seeing everything from, a very basic single Raspberry Pi like we saw last time to the beast of a setup we just saw. I would love to see more. But that's, we don't have any more to go through today. You must have accurate time for Windows or for your server clusters. you're not wrong. I know it's super important for media production and that kind of stuff for that, but for the little setup I've got, I don't know that it's necessary. So that's probably why. It's probably why I have not felt the need to set up my own NTP. It's about latency and keeping them synced easier. Yeah. I'm glad my underwhelming setup was first. Dude, I actually really like your setup, Glenn. I love the ingenuity that you put into making something work for you, and it was good. I actually really liked it. Jason says he'll probably submit his soon. We use it at work and rely heavily, but I don't bother with it at home unless I'm testing, local clusters and the like. Yeah. And I don't cluster anything anymore. I haven't had a cluster of any variety in years. And I don't know that, what I was doing there would have required any kind of time sensitive thing. Like the only time I ever clustered anything was on 3 of these, the original Zima boards. Although I wonder, now that I have, there we go, man, there we go. Just I wanted to see like how much, nope, they sure don't look any different other than their casing. The casing, I actually like the casing better on this one, if I'm honest. Like this one's heavier and whatnot, but I like the look of this one better, if I'm honest. This is the first one, this is the second one. I don't know, but there it is. So, yeah, I think I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to start wrapping this up. We've got people coming over later. We got to get some stuff ready in the house for that. I also want to see if I can get the stereo installed. It's all about KISS, so no clustering over here. It's cool to know about it. Yeah, I enjoyed the process of learning it. Don't ever really want to do it again if I can help it. I'm sure it would be easier, or it would be easier if I did it over and over and over again. But setting up high availability with Proxmox was fun. And I used it for a while, but it was never practical for what I was doing. So, yeah. All right. I want to thank you guys seriously for hanging out with me this morning. Again, I'm going to figure out something for next week. It might be Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. I don't know yet. I got to figure that out with the holiday because I don't want to take up people's Saturday if they've got other things going on. I always want people to prioritize their family and that sort of thing before this. So I'm going to try to do kind of an afternoon thing moving forward, or a later morning thing if it's on a Sunday. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll put something out, let you guys know. Be sure to either join the Discord or follow me on social media so that you can be kept up to date when that happens. Again, all of that should be linked down below or somewhere below this video, this live stream or the VOD. So yeah, definitely keep in touch that way. I'll keep you guys up to date. Hopefully a new video this week. Starting a new series with the Open Media Vault 8 stuff. And maybe something with the Glances alternative. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Again, thank you guys so much. And all of that. I really do appreciate you. I'm going to go do what I got to do to get ready for this evening and see if I can get this stereo installed and go from there. So are you doing another? Yes, 7 Catter. I'm planning on doing more. It'll probably be the last live stream of each month. I think that's how we're going to work this. I'm going to do like 1 a month. So far I've only had like 7 submissions. I did like, I think 4 last time and 3 this time or something. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we'll get some more and we'll do another one of these next month. So if you want your live stream, if you want your Homelab on live stream, definitely get it submitted via the information in the video description. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I want you guys to have a great rest of your weekend and I'll talk to you again here real soon.